How's everybody doing today? All right, so today we have a lot to talk about. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. Try to keep it short, try to keep it at 15 minutes. But we're talking about how to start your passive income journey for beginners. All right, so there's a lot going on today. Now, this is not supposed to be all inclusive. This is supposed to give you the ideas that you then research. You research by reading a lot. All right, if you're not a reader, become one. That's the only guidance. The biggest return on your investment is reading and learning. And then you'll be able to predict market trends and investment methods and techniques and so on and so forth. But you have to have it here. All right. There is no other way to get rich than reading a lot. Period. Okay. All the mega CEOs and entrepreneurs and business people read a lot. Okay. And I'm not talking about reading mysteries. I'm talking about reading nonfiction, which might seem boring right now, but it's all how to perceive money, perceive investing. Everything's an investment. Your marriage is an investment. Your mind is an investment. Your job is an investment. All right. And your money and how you turn your money is an investment. Everything is a return on investment. Okay. So that being said, let's kick it off with investing basics. All right. So by investing, I mean, right now, I mean, stock market investing. Okay. So now you have your job. You have no additional stream of income besides your job. That's where we're starting. Okay. You don't know much about the stock market. You don't know much about anything else. So let's start with that. You're a beginner. Okay. Hopefully you're under the age of 30. I started all this at age 38. Okay. Now, due to the fact that I was making a lot of money back then at 38, I was able to turn the tides real quick. Okay. So when I was reading, me and my wife, we had multiple cars and loans and a few credit cards, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we were negative $77,000 in debt. Right. So we were in the hole. All right. So less than 3 years later, that was June 2019. Less than 3 years later, we're positive, no debt, 220,000. Okay, dollars, US dollars. Okay, so again, is that a lot of money? No. Is it better being broke? Absolutely. Okay, so but I started exactly right here. Seriously, I started right here as a beginner reading summer of 2019. Okay, so let's start. Okay, the first thing you need to do is understand compounding. Everything in life compounds. Okay, the book, The Compound Effect, which is linked in the article, right? And again, by the way, this book is free for download. Okay, if you like it, go ahead and buy it. If you want to support the channel, buy the ebook. All right, I haven't put together I looked it up. I didn't put a paperback up there yet. There's a lot of work to be done, right? So bear with me. I'm one person. And I don't plan on expanding my business to multiple people. We just have to wait and deal with crappy YouTube and missing hard books and paper books and paperbacks. It's fine. It is what it is, right? Okay, so The Compound Effect. Read that book. Everything we do in life compounds. If we have a bad habit, it compounds. So that means if just like I did today, I ate a bag of M&Ms. If I don't exercise those off, then the next day I might gain 0.1 pound. And then the next day, that 0.1 pound multiplies into 0.2 pounds, whatever. So our bad habits compound, our good habits compound. So as you progress, as you read this book and you understand, your small dividend of 50 cents is going to eventually compound and compound and compound, all right? Our first dividend was 25 cents back in August 2019. And this month or next month, one or two, I'm going to get an $80 dividend to my Cash App. $80 with one dividend. I'm talking about one dividend. It's going to be $80. It's insanity. Insanity. I can't even imagine. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right. I would have never thought that one dividend could buy me a video game and McDonald's meal. And it's free money, right? Okay, so read The Compound Effect. After that, as you get into investing, The Intelligent Investor. That's going to give you the basics. And this book is, I think it's 1930s, 1940s. It's an old investing book. Boring. Huge. But you have to read it. Okay? It's your pittance to pay for investing. All right? It's going to tell you how to invest in boring dividend stocks. That's it. The most boring, stocks that nobody cares about. Energy, utilities, telecom. All right, nobody cares about these stocks, but they're the ones that are making you money long term, okay? So The Intelligent Investor, I read it 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. All right, it gave me the basics on now. I'm just a boring investor. There's nothing exciting about my portfolio except when those dividends come, which I'm waiting for like a lot this week. All right, so you'll be looking forward to your dividends more than your paycheck. All right, put it that way. Now, we put those two together, compounding, investing in blue chip stocks. And what do we get? Dividend growth investing. Okay, so as a beginner, you don't have a lot of extra money. You have $100, maybe $200 a month or less. It doesn't matter. Open your stash account and just start investing in boring companies that you know. All right, so in stash, you go in stash, you look up a company that you know, you recognize, that you personally have used their products. And then it says dividend yield. If the dividend yield is 1%, 2%, 3%, that means they pay a dividend. All right. So I had a video, an article called Pick Your First 5 Dividend Stocks. All right. So find that video. I don't have that many YouTube videos right now. So it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Find that video. Watch that. Okay. So that's particular to this step. Now, some of the companies I invest in, McDonald's, Starbucks, ExxonMobil, which is doing really well because I started investing in that 3 years ago. All right, so in March 2020, everybody said there's no more fossil fuels. Okay. Pfizer. I got into Pfizer before the pandemic. Verizon, AT&T, which is going to cut their dividend, but give you a growth stock. Okay, so they're splitting off. Johnson & Johnson. Okay, we all use Johnson & Johnson products. Okay, so they're going to pay you somewhere between 2 to 3%, plus they're going to rise in value. Do that slowly, dividend growth investing. All right, $20 a week into 5 stocks is going to do you favors. And then as you start to learn and understand, you can branch out. Okay, so as a beginner, read those books and then dividend growth investing with stocks you know. Don't try to get ridiculous right now. You're just surviving. You're just learning. You're learning where to read your information. You're learning how to read earning statements. You're learning, where your news comes in. Got it. Okay. Everybody around you is going to have the next hot tip. Okay. That's fine. McDonald's isn't a hot tip. However, just slow and steady. McDonald's have done very well for me. All my stocks I just named have done very well. Starbucks went down recently, but it's okay. I'm buying more on the dip. And it'll go back up. All right, now, real estate, you're a beginner. Okay, you might own a house. If you don't, that's fine. All right, your first property is probably not a rental property. All right, so we want to get into real estate. Okay, there's one major way how to get into real estate when you're young, and that's through real estate investment trust, REITs. Okay, so I have 2 types of REITs. I have REITs that trade on the stock market. Okay, so when you open your stash account, you can find a REIT like Public Storage. Okay, so I invest in Public Storage, which you see Public Storage when you're driving around. All right, there's a lot of REITs out there, and REITs are in all sectors. Okay, the housing sector, Public Storage is actually a storage, farmlands. I mean, they're everywhere. REITs are everywhere. Okay, so when you're reading about your dividend growth stocks on Seeking Alpha, you can also read about REITs. There's people who all they do is talk about REITs. Pin one of those people, make them your favorite author, and right into your inbox, your Gmail, it'll come articles, and just read those. Spend 20 to 30 minutes a day reading a REITs article, and you'll find REITs that you like. And then you can dollar cost average into those REITs. All right, another REIT that I invest in is Fundrise. Okay, this one doesn't trade on the stock market. What's the difference? Fundrise is a privately held real estate investment trust that doesn't trade on the stock market. What does that mean? It means that they're not subjected to the ups and downs of the stock market. When the stock market goes down, they say all REITs are going to go down in flames, and all the REITs go down across the board, which is a good time to get yield. Fundrise is immune to that. However, okay, with REITs on the stock market, you can trade in and trade out as many times as you want per day. Fundrise, since it's private, you have like a 6 month to a year lockup of your money. So don't put money in a Fundrise that you need in the next year or two. All right, so long term. So it's better to put $20 in there than to put $200 and need it back, need your $200 back. All right, I just put $100 a month in the first into Fundrise, and my last dividend from them, my last quarterly dividend from Fundrise was $75. So it's adding up, and I've been with them 2.5 years. So it's slowly adding up into a nice little source of income. Okay, so by the end of the year, I'll be getting $100 dividend, quarterly. So if I keep doing that, keep doing Fundrise for the next 20, 30 years, eventually that quarterly dividend is going to be $1,000, right? That's pretty cool. It's pretty insane, right? Okay, so we have investing, we have real estate for beginners. Now, crypto. First thing I recommend is read How to DeFi for beginners. Okay, so you understand the terms of crypto. All right, crypto is throwing a lot of people for a loop. You can get very deep into crypto and not know what's going on and lose a lot of money. Slow down, it's okay. Now, I have a book called Counting on Crypto, right? That covers, I think, 40 plus articles of crypto I've written. So grab that. It's free. Okay. If I remember, let me put a little star here. If I remember, I'll put it in the comments below. All right. So when you start, I recommend Voyager. That's what I use. I use the Voyager app, and I invest in USDC. It's a stable coin. So you buy $1 USD, you could turn into $1 USDC. Okay, so it's basically, this goes with the dollar. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, it just matches the dollar, but it's a crypto dollar. All right, and they pay you 9% interest on that dollar. Okay, so the reason why they pay you 9% is because they're lending the money off to somebody else. All right, they're probably lending it at 12 to 15%. So they're paying you 9%, and then they lend it off. That doesn't matter to you. All you want is your 9%. Nice, safe 9%. That's a huge amount of money. Okay, can you imagine? It's like a 9% CD. It's like a 9% government bond. All right, the only risk with USDC is that each month they set the interest rates. So there's a chance it could go down. But even if it did go down, you don't lose the money they've already paid you. So if you put it in there for 5 years at 9% and then it goes down to 8 or 7%, okay. If you want a higher yield, you'll put your money somewhere, or you can just leave it there. But all that money you accumulated, compounding, is still there. All right, so I'm a firm believer. I have like 5 to 8 articles just specifically on USDC because I believe it's probably the best investment anybody can do right now. Okay, so that's cryptocurrencies. Don't go deeper than that yet. Get familiar with, transferring your money from your bank account to the crypto world and then purchasing USDC. And then from there, you can into the next stage, intermediate stage, we can look at different coins. Okay. Now, retirement planning. Okay, you're a beginner still, so retirement planning. All right. So if you're in the military, you have your TSP. If you're in the civilian world, you have your 401k. All right, they're similar. However, you probably still need something more called a Roth Ira. Okay, so this is an after-tax IRA. Right now, you can put up to $6,000 a year into that money. What does that do for you? So you pay your taxes, and then you put your money in your Roth. However, the money that you accumulate in there in the Roth is tax-free. At 59.5, you could take your money out tax-free. Now, so what does that do for you? My goal, my Roth, and I don't put much in my Roth, maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a year in there. Okay. At the end, so say I get to $100,000 in my Roth, okay, and it's tax-free. I'm then going to convert all the money in there into a high yield style investment. Okay, so let's say a mortgage REIT, AGNIC, right? AGNC. All right, so it's at 10% yield. So now all the dividends I get out of there after I'm 59.5 are going to be tax-free. Okay, so right now my main thing is just to grow as fast as possible. So the best safest growth vehicle is index funds, in particular VTI, which is the total stock market. Okay, I wrote an article about VTI. Okay, so I'll link that below. So VTI is my favorite index fund. All right, all my different accounts, I use VTI. Okay, because I just love it. All right, it's very simple. It's very simple. You're just investing into the whole stock market, and in general, the stock market goes up and down, but it trends upwards. Okay, so you just put your money in there, and it'll trend upwards. No need to think. So I'm going to have a big, $100,000 worth of VTI, right? It's not going to pay me a lot of yield, but I can just sell all my VTI tax-free and then buy, right? I can buy all these high yield products that are going to pay me. So I'll have my own little portfolio paying me, I don't know, $1,000 a month tax-free, right? And the good thing about a Roth is when you die, it passes to your kids and they can withdraw tax-free. They got to take it all in 10 years. They had to liquidate it all in 10 years. However, it'll be tax-free. So they can go buy a house. So if I have $100,000 in there, cool. They can go parlay that into a, maybe a down payment of a house tax-free, right? So now they're living tax-free in the end as well. Okay, so those are the 5 things we're going to talk about today for passive income for beginners. You got your investing, DGI, dividend growth investing, real estate, REITs, crypto, USDC, retirement planning, Roth. Okay, now thinking about the future, the main thing you want to understand is how to become an insider. Rich Dad's Guide to Investing book, right? So I'll link that. That is the first book that really got my mind thinking about being an insider. Okay, all these things I told you about, you're an outsider, right? Just like your job, you're an outsider. If you go walk into your work and say, "Hey, I want a raise," you got to ask somebody, right? So when you're an insider, you create the prices, you make the changes. Everything that you do has a direct effect on your income and your time. So you're an insider. Okay, so for instance, for REITs, you're on the outside. But if you rented a room, you're on the inside. Why? Because say inflation happens. Okay, so at the end of the year that you rented a room, you can now say, "Hey, rent goes up $100. Okay, or hey, here's a storage locker. You can rent in my storage locker for $50 a month, right? Or hey, I'm cooking food every day. I can cook you food as well, but I need $50 a month on that." Right? So you can do additional income streams. You control your income stream. That's an insider. All right. So that's what takes your passive income to the next level. Right now, we're outsiders. That's fine. I started as an outsider. Right? So when I started my business, when I started my YouTube, when I started my blog and my Facebook group, right, I'm an insider on those. Okay? Because I can generate income based on how many videos I release or how many books I release or how I advertise, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's for next time though. So Rich Dad's Guide to Investing explains insider versus outsider. All right, even having a small position where you're insider, right? If you're making cakes or starting a parking lot or running a vending machine, even having those small things is going to pay dividends on the other side. Okay, huge dividends because you're in control. All right, and when things turn over, like in the world, you can now leverage that information or that knowledge base and parlay that into a greater income stream, right? If I have one vending machine, the world goes to crap. Now, since I already know the process, I can start and have 3 or 5 vending machines. I have more time to leverage in something I already know. So that's for the future, right? I want to get off topic. I don't know how long I've been talking because I like to talk about this stuff. If you have a guess, every single video I'm going to write is about some form of passive income or your mindset to build passive income. Why? Because I didn't have this information. I learned it all by myself because when I hit E8, E9, I didn't have as much money as I thought I would, right? The things didn't click. My debt didn't instantly absolve, right? I was like, oh, wow, I make a lot of money, but I have debt. Why? Because I was doing it all wrong, right? I was using my paycheck to buy things, right? I was splurging with my earned income. Don't do that. All right. Buy assets. And then when you get your dividends, when you get your rental incomes, when you get your royalties, use those to splurge. Okay? That it's like putting up a wall, right? A barrier between your income and splurging, right? So anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for bearing with me. Again, this book is free. If you want to buy the ebook, buy the ebook. All right. I can't promise you when I'm going to make the paperback, because I have I think 100 paperbacks to go back and make. Probably more like 200. Right. So I'm behind. Okay. So it is what it is. Anyway, but it's fun, right? I really enjoy this. I really enjoy spending my time doing this stuff. Okay. But that's all for today, and I will see you next week.